Today, I'm going to help you decide whether you should buy the Oculus Rift S or the Oculus Quest for PCVR in August 2020. Hello and welcome to the VR Cauldron. I'm Witch, and today I'm going to help you decide how to spend your money. More specifically, which one of these should you buy? Before we start the discussion, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you'd like to see a VR video from me every few days. So, the Oculus Quest and Rift S were released in May 2019, both at the same low price point that undercut competitors such as the HTC Vive. On release, it was very easy to decide between the two. Do you want to play PCVR or a slimmed down mobile VR game library? But with the release of the Oculus Link cable, the Quest suddenly became a viable PC VR headset. Now there's already a lot of videos on YouTube about which headset you should buy, but I'm specifically looking at this from a PC VR perspective. But to throw a spanner in the works, we also have to talk about if it's even worth buying either one of them right now. More on that later. I am lucky enough to own both headsets, but not lucky enough to own all the headsets like those VR YouTubers with lots of subscribers. But still, in the grand scheme of things, very lucky indeed. Many thanks to the wife. Now, since you're even considering the Rift S, that must mean you have a PC that can power it. Remember, you'll want an i5 or better that's not too old, let's say no more than 5 years. You'll need 16 gigs of RAM and at the very least, a 1060 NVIDIA graphics card or AMD equivalents. If you're not sure if your system's powerful enough, feel free to ask in the comments. So, before we dive into the pros and cons of each headset, let's talk about the deal breakers. If one of these things applies to you now, then it doesn't matter what comes later, you'll only have one sensible choice. If you have an IPD, that's the distance between your pupils, of less than 61.5mm or more than 65.5mm, then you absolutely shouldn't get the Rift S unless you love eye strain and blurry images. On the other hand, if you want to play continuously and never want to run out of batteries, then the Quest isn't for you either. So with the major points out the way, let's talk about all of those other details. Image quality. As a PC VR headset, the Oculus Rift has the better image quality despite a lower resolution. This is due to the compression needed to transfer graphical data from the PC to the Quest. The image quality of the Quest when playing PC games is by no means bad, but the Rift S is slightly better because it doesn't have to compress the graphical data taken from the PC. Refresh rate. The refresh rate is how many times the screen updates per second. The refresh rate of both headsets are both low compared to the standard of 90Hz. The Quest is at 72Hz and the Rift S is at 80Hz. Many people can't tell the difference. However, a lower refresh rate can contribute to motion sickness, even if you can't tell. Now do bear in mind that the Quest is actually capable of 90Hz. An update allowing the Quest to run at 90Hz, however, is unlikely, but it can be modded to support it. However, since most people won't want to be doing that, we'll give this one to the Rift. Field of view. The field of view, or FOV, is how much you can see at any one time. In the real world, we can see about 180 degrees vertically and horizontally. In VR at the moment, most headsets offer from 90 to 110 degrees, though some, such as the Valve Index and the Pimax, offer more. The larger the FOV, the more immersive and lifelike the experience. Oculus don't publish official FOV numbers because they can vary from person to person. However, they are both around 100 degrees. They've been measured, as shown by Mixed Reality TV, and he found the Quest to have the largest of the two. In my experience, they seem to be about equal. This might be because the FOV on the Quest actually increases as you increase the IPD of the headset. But since I have an IPD suitable for the Rift S, if you're still here, so do you, the FOV is going to be about the same for both. So I'll call this one a draw. LCD versus OLED, blacks and resolution. One of the reasons the Rift S seems to punch above its weight when it comes to resolution is due to the fact the LCD screen has 3 subpixels for each pixel, unlike the OLED screen in the Quest, which only has 2. However, the disadvantage of an LCD screen is that the pixels are lit by a bright light. So when producing images that contain black areas, despite the pixels being turned off, because the colour black is the absence of light, sunlight still gets through and makes it look more like a dark grey. Since we've already talked about the perceived resolution, we'll base the results here on the black levels, which are definitely better in the Quest. Having said that, a lot of people either won't be able to tell or won't care. Tracking. Both headsets use inside-out tracking using cameras on the headset and don't require base stations. Both are very good when compared to other headsets with inside-out tracking, such as the HP Reverb G2 and the HTC Vive Cosmos. However, the Rift S has 5 cameras to the Quest's 4, meaning that tracking on the Rift S is slightly better. So a win for the Rift S, but most people won't be able to tell the difference. Comfort and weight. Due to the Oculus Quest having innards, i.e. a little computer and storage inside of it, it's a heavier headset, and since all the weight is at the front, it can push down on your cheeks and become very uncomfortable after a while. This can be solved using various comfort accessories such as counterweights, extra padding such as the VR cover, or even a new halo strap similar to the one on the Rift, which distributes the weight much better. However, all of those things cost money, and we'll look at this soon. The Rift S, on the other hand, is lighter and already has a nice halo strap, so needs no extra comfort accessories, and you can happily play for hours. So the Quest is getting thrashed right now. If you turn off now, it looks like you should just go and buy a Rift. But wait, maybe a comeback is on the cards. Media consumption. So I said that the Quest wasn't very comfortable, right? Well, a problem with the Rift's comfortable halo strap is how thick the back of the strap is, and also the dial that's used to adjust the tightness. If you want to sit back and watch a film, the Rift isn't very comfortable at all. The Quest strap, however, is perfect for this. A lot of people question why the Quest came with this strap, but maybe this is the reason. Also, the Quest itself is more than capable of playing movies without the need of a PC, so now it can use its full, uncompressed, high resolution and show off the deeper blacks of its OLED screen, which is mighty important when watching movies. Well done Quest, you are the ultimate media consumer. Mobility. This all depends on how much you want to spread the word like some kind of VR priest, and if you'd love the idea of letting your family try Richie's Plank experience, then you'd really need a Quest. As you know, the Quest is a self-contained VR console and it has a lot of great games on it. The ability to play these games without a wire is huge, and if you've only played VR with a wire, then you might not realise how freeing wireless VR is. People spend about £30 on a pulley system to get that annoying wire out of the way, but it still can't beat the total freedom you get from the Quest. As you may know, the Quest isn't limited to Oculus Link when it comes to PCVR. Using Virtual Desktop, you can stream your PCVR games to the Quest wirelessly, and if you have a decent 5G connection, it works very well. I do it using a cheap 5G router which costs about £30. Connect the PC to the router with an Ethernet cable, and connect the Quest to the router, and you'll get almost flawless wireless PC VR. The latency is nearly non-existent, but you may notice it on things like Beat Saber if you compare it directly to the Rift. But you aren't going to be having Jeff from Half-Life Alyx chase you around the garden with your Rift. Easy win for the Quest here, but you might not care about wireless VR, in which case just get the Rift now. Exercise. Now if you're planning on using VR for exercise, you really can't beat being wire-free. All of the main exercise games are on the Quest, such as Pistol Whip, Beat Saber, Box VR, or Fit XR as it is now, and of course the best of them all, Thrill of the Fight. But wireless connectivity isn't the only thing the Quest has got going for it. Remember that terrible strap that turned out to be good for movies? Well, it's good for workouts too. It's plastic, so it is absolutely perfect for sweaty conditions since it just wipes off. The Rift S, on the other hand, has non-removable sponge all around the inside of the halo strap. Yes, it keeps your head comfortable, but after a few weeks of exercising, it begins to get a bit pungy. The face padding of both the Rift and the Quest are interchangeable, so can easily be swapped for a more sweat-resistant option, such as PU leather or covered using a silicone face mask. Oh, I have a video about that too. So, another win for the Quest. Play session time. We've already talked about comfort when it comes to how long you can extend your play session for, but another factor is the fact that the Quest needs batteries. The internal batteries run out after about 2 hours, so unless you plug it in, you'll have to stop playing. As a Quest player, you do have a few options here, but it does involve spending more money. You could buy a battery pack. Battery packs are usually strapped to the back of the Quest and can act as a counterweight to make the Quest more comfortable too. But you'll still be out of batteries in about 4 hours unless you buy 2 of them and swap them over and put one on charge every time, but that's going to be a bit annoying. The other option is to use the charging cable, but then you're wired again. If you're using Virtual Desktop to play wirelessly and have to plug in the charger, then it's kind of pointless. And if you're using the Oculus Link cable to play PCVR, you need to make sure you're plugged into a USB port with enough power. Otherwise, you'll still only have about 4 hours of playtime. By the way, if you're planning on using the Oculus Link cable to play mainly PCVR and don't care about the actual Quest apps, then just get the Rift S. The Rift S is definitely a better PCVR experience than the Quest, using both virtual desktop or the Link cable in terms of image quality and latency, so for the reasons stated above, this round is a win for the Rift S. Sound. Well, both headsets have their sound pumped through the arms of the head straps. They're generally not that great, but personally I don't really mind because I like to hear my surroundings whilst I'm playing. They're nowhere near as good as the on-ear speaker style of the old Rift or the Valve Index, but hey, we're trying to decide between a Rift S and a Quest, and they both have the same style, so who cares? Well, in my opinion, the Quest speakers do seem a tiny bit better than those on the Rift S, having a little more bass and general power, but the difference isn't really huge. Also, if you want to use headphones, the Quest is also the better option as it has headphone jacks on both sides. That means you can get little earphones that plug into both sides and go directly to your ears. So well done Quest, you win the sound round. And the final point before we look at potential price is updates. Now don't believe anyone that tells you that the Rift S is the forgotten child of Oculus and never has updates. They're only half right. The Rift S is still supported and we haven't heard any plans that they'll stop supporting it. Updates have been coming, but they're mainly bug fixes. The Quest, however, has received hand tracking updates, the Oculus Link updates of course, environment updates, the Pass-Through Plus upgrades, and loads more. But what's that mean for PC VR on Quest? Well, not much really, but it still shows that Oculus loves the Quest more than the Rift S. Price. So let's look at the price you'll be paying to play PC VR. First, the Rift. So the Rift S is £399. The only thing that you can buy to get an experience a bit more like the Quest is the pulley system that costs about £30. It's not the same as being wireless, but you might not care about it. But this means you'll be paying somewhere between £399 or £430 for the Rift S. Now the Quest with all the different options is a bit more complicated. At the bare minimum, to play PC VR, you don't have to pay anything extra since there's been another update, see, told you, which allows you to use the charging cable that comes with the Quest as an Oculus Link cable. But not all motherboards will accept this cable, and it doesn't work with most, if not all, USB-C to USB adapters, and I found the experience to be less than satisfactory. And remember, this video is based mainly on PC VR, so you're basically paying for a bad Rift if that's all you're going to do. So you'll need at least a third-party USB 3 link cable that costs around £30. The official one from Oculus is about £80, but let's pretend we're going to get the one for £30. That brings the price to £430. If you want to go wireless PC VR, then you need virtual desktop for about £15 and maybe a 5G router for £30. So that gives a price of £415 to £445. If you want to fix the comfort problems, then the Halo strap as the most expensive option costs £40, and if you want to pay for an external battery pack, that's another £30. So if you're buying a Quest mainly to play PC VR, you'll be paying anywhere from £415 to £515. That's assuming you go for the 64GB version of the Quest. The 128GB version is an extra £100, bringing the total with accessories to a HP Reverb G2 baiting £615. If you're planning on spending this much and are considering a Rift S, get the Reverb. If you thought you might need the 128GB version, then it all depends on how many videos you want to store on the device. 64GB is plenty for lots of games and some videos, and remember, you'll be able to stream movies from your PC too. So I'm going to assume you're going to settle for the 64GB version. So let's look at the results. The image quality, Rift. Refresh, Rift. FOV, a draw. LCD versus OLED, the Quest wins there with its OLED screen. Tracking, Rift is slightly better. Comfort and weight, Rift. Media consumption, Quest. Mobility, Quest. Exercising, Quest. Play session time, Rift. Sound, Quest. And price, Rift. So overall, that's 7 wins for the Quest and 7 wins for the Rift. So it looks like it's a draw. So in conclusion, I have no idea which one you should get. Thanks for watching, hope to see you next time. See ya! Okay, well, obviously it's not as simple as that. Different people want different things, and some weaknesses might not be an issue at all to some people. I thought about making a flowchart, but there's really no need. All you're going to do is take a look at the table and decide which strengths are important to you and go from there. But now, to throw that spanner in the works, the third option of buying neither headset is there for a reason, as is the date of August 2020. This is because you might have seen leaked pictures of what people believe is the next Oculus Quest. There's been a lot of speculation about this headset. Some people believe it will be a cheaper headset and a downgrade to the Quest, but most believe it will be an upgrade that is cheaper to manufacture and therefore sold at either the same price as the current Quest or maybe even less. So right now you might be thinking, well, I chose the Rift S, so it doesn't affect me. Well, hold your horses. I think it's fair to say that Oculus have shown that they really care a lot more about standalone VR than PC tethered VR. However, it would be very silly of them to ignore PCVR. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rift S is the last PCVR only headset released by Oculus. I can imagine all future Oculus headsets being mobile, just like the Quest, but also with the ability to do PCVR extremely well, with increased resolutions, fields of view and refresh rates. When these images were leaked, so was the date of September the 15th. We don't know what that date is for, but most believe that it will be a date of an announcement relating to the next Quest. So at the very least, wait until September the 15th. I got my Quest this June, so the announcement of the next Quest did annoy me slightly, but the current Quest is still a marvellous piece of technology. So for now, I say to you, just wait a few weeks. Watch lots of VR videos and get your VR fix like that. That way, at least you won't be disappointed when the announcement finally comes. If you're made of money and you want to buy a VR headset right now, then that's okay too. I realise I haven't given my own opinion on the matter, so here it is. Now, I'm not telling you what to do, because only you really know what you want to do based on the strengths outlined earlier, but what I would do is this. Personally, I value the freedom of wireless VR above all the strengths of the Rift S. I use the Quest to exercise, it's so much better for it. I don't play longer than 2 hours at a time right now, so battery life isn't an issue. I can barely tell the difference between 72 and 80 Hz, and the latency of PC games I play wirelessly seems to be absolutely fine. The freedom, as well as the added bonus of being able to show people VR and play VR in any room, for me at least, vastly outweighs the slightly better PC VR quality of the Rift S. And there you have it. If you found that video useful, please hit that like button, because sadly not many people do. I'll update this video after any Quest 2 announcements, but until then, I've been Witch. Thanks for watching the VR Cauldron, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you next time. See ya! Close your eyes when I'm upside down.